Awesome. Well, how's it going today, Richard?
I'm doing great. How are you, Lauren?
Doing well. Thanks so much for hopping on today.
Thank you. It's
Perfect.
a pleasure.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. So tell me a little bit about your business.
Yeah, so Property Llama and Property Llama Capital. The Property Llama part is an online dashboard for real estate investors to analyze their property portfolios. And so by that, I mean they're directly on rentals as well as any syndications or funds that they're a part of. The issue is that most real estate investors, it's an enormous part of their net worth. For a lot of people, it's most of their net worth. I like speaking for myself. Um, and the issue is that they don't really deeply understand their returns. I think another issue we have is that we think that a lot of real estate investors are overly focused on, their cash flow or their cash on cash when they bought it, except the fact of the situation is we've all been blessed with a lot of appreciation in the past, 4 or 5 years. And what that has done is really compressed cap rates. And so a lot of investors have very equity heavy positions in very low cap rate properties, which means we think that they're leaving a lot of money on the table, and that's expressed through our favorite metric, return on equity. And so if you're able to, like, return on the equity is like your money in the property and how hard it's working for you. And that what we see is that when our system shows investors how they can redeploy that equity into either better performing properties through a 1031 or, investing in a fund, and that, just a couple moves can make it so that these investors are able to hit their cash flow goals and retirement goals in like 5 years instead of never. Because basically what our system is able to, like, project out 30 years, because everybody knows that real estate is a long-term game, and most everybody's real estate goals they're expressing as, I need $10,000 a month in cash flow in 20 years, or I need $20,000 a month in cash flow in 20 years. And that usually when you're owning a bunch of low cap rate single family homes, you will probably never reach your cash flow goals, versus, like I said, doing a 1031 or trading into a fund or something, and you'll hit those goals in 5 to 10 years is often what we see. So the other part of the business is Property Llama Capital, where we have in-house funds or funds where we're a partner on. So this is everything from debt funds to development, syndication, stuff like that. And, we're able to bring the best, or what we see is the best opportunities or really great opportunities to investors.
Absolutely. Yep. You guys have a really, really neat platform, and it's free for users, right? At least on
Yeah.
the Property Llama side. If you have rental properties, it makes a ton of sense to input your data, check it out, make sure you're getting the best return on your capital that you can be. And if you aren't, then talk further with Richard and his team, and he can help point you in the right direction. So
Yeah.
it's a really neat software that I'll link it as well. It's pretty cool to check out. So yeah, loved working with you guys, getting to know your team and your platforms better. Tell me, if you don't mind, how has your experience been working with Equity Elevated?
Yeah. So we brought you in because our platform acquires obviously a lot of high net worth real estate investors. We're able to, what I mean by acquire is, acquiring leads and users. And, these are people with a demonstrated interest in investing in real estate. These are people with large portfolios. We're able to identify who's who, and that we felt like we should be able to be doing a lot better in terms of our fundraising for our funds than we actually were. I think that we had really great top of funnel, but that we really struggled on the tactical part of, like, actually running marketing campaigns for our funds and stuff like that. And that, given your background and how you have helped a lot of very successful companies kind of overhaul their investor relations process, we brought you in on a consulting engagement to take a look at what we were doing and find opportunities for improvement. And then you also helped us run a few campaigns.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And yeah, to your point, your top of funnel was awesome. Very huge. You guys have got a ton of different companies. Chris Lopez, one of your partners, is constantly out doing podcasts, speaking engagements, all over the place. And so you have a really great system built out, and I was happy to come in and help where I could. So what was the original goal that you brought me in to assist with?
Yeah. So we had set a goal of raising $500,000 a month for our products. And at the time, I think we were averaging, I mean, this sounds really bad, but $100,000 to $200,000 a month. And so this was obviously a huge disappointment for us, especially because my partner and I were previously partners at another fund before we started launching our own, and we used to do much better than that. Except the thing is that our mandate at that fund was purely the marketing side. And so we brought in a huge amount of leads, and then at that fund, we were able to convert them very well, doing way better than $500,000 a month. And then it was obviously dispiriting and alarming that we were not able to replicate that. So like, what were we doing wrong? Because if anything, we were generating even more leads because we'd gotten better at that. And we were generating all these qualified leads, not able to convert them to investors. We just really struggled. And so, like I said, we brought you in. First thing we did was about a 1-month study of what was going on in the business. And the reason that took a month was we have a lot going on, with all these channels, kind of, as you mentioned. Like, we have sponsored videos on Bigger Pockets. We produce content on Bigger Pockets. We have our own media channels. We got like 9,000 people on email lists. I mean, there's warm-up series, CRM follow-ups, then like what was actually the IR team doing, what was being said on calls, everything. We wanted an end-to-end.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, came in there, checked out every piece of the puzzle, built out an entire sales playbook, helped train the team. We went through all kinds of role-playing discussions and activities, built out new marketing funnel, emails, SOPs on what do we do with these leads? When should we be contacting them? How are we segmenting our lists to hit the right leads for the right deals? All kinds of fun stuff that we built out together. So after this, and after our first couple of months together, what was the end result of our time so far, if you don't mind?
Yeah, sure. So basically, like I said, it took a month basically to do the analysis. And then I would say it took another month to write all these SOPs and kind of go back and forth and agree on what our future campaign is going to look like. And then in month 3 is when we really started launching, going hard. And so what we did was a combination of fund launches, in-person events, etc. And as you mentioned, you wrote the SOPs or playbook, very detailed playbooks, everything from what is our process for inviting people to events, what is our email cadence to invite people to events, who are we segmenting for this campaign, because obviously we want to not harass people that are not a good fit for it. But on the other hand, if we feel that people are a good fit, and that was based on, either their behavior in terms of what they had shown interest in before, or if they were previous investors, reaching out to them, inviting them to the event. So that first month, we actually did 600,000 in sales. So like I said, our goal was 500,000. We did 600,000. And then actually in pipeline, we did much more. So in pipeline, we did 1.6 million. Now, this next month, which is now, I feel with a high degree of confidence, I think we're at about 2 million raised, so actual funds received this month. So really blowing stuff out of the water. And then in terms of opportunities generated, we did 3.4 million. And so also, now that we have all these SOPs, there were just a few things. I mean, the low-hanging fruit really kind of covered it, is that we had all the pieces. We just needed to improve our execution, and none of this stuff is rocket science or anything. I mean, the awesome thing about your SOPs is you're just like, okay, when you launch a fund, here's the 3 emails that you need to send, or 3 or 4. Here's who to send them to. Once someone signs up, here's the follow-up series. The purpose of the follow-up series is basically an objective handling sequence that is very tailored to real estate opportunities. And that when I wrote this stuff, I was just like, it all made sense. I was like, oh man, why weren't we doing this before? I mean, you're like, talk about why it's a good location. Talk about why it's a good deal. Talk about the team. And you're like, yeah, that makes really great sense, And when you follow up, say this. And so we've put all that into place, and we really kind of have all the ingredients. And now it's just a matter of like, keep doing what works. Like, you really showed us how to have a functional fundraising process when you have a database of investors. And that now we just run the playbook again and again and again and again. And at this point, we're trying to turn that into like a more operationalized thing. One thing that seems to be the biggest needle mover for us is in-person events. Like, I'd say by far. And so my goal for the rest of the year, I'm a big fan of Alex Formosi, and he's all about more, better, new in that order. So like, almost never do anything new, just find what's working and then just do more of that better. And so basically my internal game plan now is we need to be running an in-person event once a month. And the question is just getting better at driving more attendees and having better events. Also, the webinars work as well. And so just getting better at what we do.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing. I'm super excited for you guys' success and for the continued growth of your fundraising pipeline and all the new deals you guys are going to send out to your investors. They're really cool deals. Some of them local to where we live and some of them nationwide. So pretty exciting. And if you're looking for interesting deals, check out Property Llama Capital. You won't be disappointed. Talk to Richard and his team over there, and it's been a real pleasure working with you guys. So anything else you'd like to share before we hop off here?
If you're looking to improve your IR process and raise more money, hire Lauren immediately. Like, just the thing is that we were reinventing the wheel and doing it poorly, and we just needed to bring in an industry veteran who knew how this stuff worked. And that in a very short amount of time, for a very reasonable investment, we completely turned around this department, which is obviously the most important department in the company, because this is how we monetize this entire thing. So hire someone who knows what they're doing. It's Lauren. Save yourself a year of pain and just do it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Richard. Like I said, it's been a pleasure, and we'll talk here soon.
Yep. See ya.
Thanks.